Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start off this empty ASU jacket with the lapel pins. This is something that's usually crooked, offset, just a little jacked up on most people's uniforms. So it's the easiest to mess up, so we'll go ahead and make sure it's squared away first. So this is everything for their uniform is going to be pulled directly out of DAPAM 670-1. This is particularly in paragraph 21-4. So really the requirements here is that it's spaced 1 inch above the notch on the lapel, centered, and then laced parallel with the inside edge here. So what we're going to use for this is just some painter's tape and the ruler, of course, and then the pins, and that's it. So let's get it put on, see some tips and tricks on it, and hopefully it'll get squared away. Alright, so I've gone ahead and set my ruler out to 1 inch. I know I have to be 1 inch above the notch, so I'm just going to lay this here and take a piece of painter's tape, and I'm just going to stick it right across the top of that ruler. It's really easy so it doesn't move. Push it down and that ruler will slide right out. So now I've got my 1 inch mark here. I'm going to go ahead and set this guy face down and up against the edge here. It doesn't matter that it's not parallel or straight across or anything like that. I'm just going to get some quick measurements. So I'm looking at 3/4 or so on that side, and right at the same there. So where I'm looking at right now, that's about perfectly centered. If you want to really get into the weeds a little bit and measure it and double check it, that's fine. That's totally up to you. I'm just going to go through here and set this painter's tape in it. It's right up to the edge. It's slid, that doesn't matter because I know that's how far on the right side it's going. Just put it right back. Pull another piece of painter's tape off. Now when I set this tape, I'm making it parallel with that inside edge. Alright, so now I've got a nice little pocket of where this pin's gonna go. So on the wearer's left, as you're looking at it, it's on your right, but the wearing left, that's gonna be your branch insignia. On your other side, that will be your US. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna look at it, eyeball it just right. Make sure it's gonna slide right into where it's supposed to slide. I'm not gonna push hard just yet. Raise it up and then bring it down some. Be careful with your fingers, it'll get you every time. So there we go, we're in. Let's peel our tape off. Double check that measurement. There we go, still at 1 inch. And it's centered right. Gotta double check that center. Pretty spot on. Good to go. Okay, switching over to our US side. I've already got my 1 inch notch. I laid this down, put the painter's tape across it. One thing I want to make note of, make sure it's not laying on top of the other side of the jacket. Make sure it's flush with that lapel. Otherwise it'll mess your measurements off just a little bit. So, go ahead and get this guy here and eyeball it just a little. About centered right there. About centered right there. I'm just gonna hold it just in place. Not that it matters. You need a piece of tape first, right? All right, let's go back to that. Stick this dude right here. Get my center. Push it over and hold it just right. Lay that piece of painter's tape down. And the same for the other side. Remember, we're gonna put it parallel with that inside seam. See how it is right there? Just lay that dude right there. Parallel. Okay. And just like before, we got our little pocket. Take those pins off. Get a good eyeball on it. So it helps to really get a top so you get a good aerial view. If you're down low like this, you won't realize if there's a gap or not until you push it in. So make sure it's straight. Go ahead and pop that guy in. Boom, and boom. And take your tape off. There you go. Parallel with that edge. This guy's parallel with that edge. Looks pretty good.